Hey everybody, it's Emily, the Crazy Worm Lady. I am here today celebrating my 1-year YouTube anniversary, and I wanted to bring you guys along for a brand new experiment. I felt like that would be fitting considering I started my channel hoping to do a lot of experiments and kind of bring you guys along on my journey to really learning and growing in my vermicomposting experience. So I am setting up my overwintering experience. So it's going to be an experiment that I'm going to be running in an old trash can. So I wanted to take you outside and show you how I've drilled some holes in it, and then a little bit later we are going to add some bedding and add the worms we've harvested and give it a shot, see what happens. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all of your support. I would have never expected that after just 1 year on YouTube that I would have over 700 subscribers. I mean, let's be honest, our hobby is a little bit odd. So anyway, I am really, really grateful. I hope this year is going to be another year of a lot of fun for us. And I guess we'll go outside and take a look. Alright guys, so I am outside here in my backyard. This is the back of my driveway. We upgraded to some wheelie bin trash cans because they're easier to take to the end of our long driveway. These were getting heavy. So it's empty right now. And I just wanted to show you how I set this up. So what I did is 5 rows here, 3 deep. I did that on either side of the handle on both sides of the trash can. Because obviously we know ventilation is important, but I didn't want to overdo the air holes because then the cold air is going to get in. So it was kind of like a balance of what I wanted to do that way. So that's what I did as far as that's concerned. That will allow any gases that are released during the decomposition process to come out of these holes, as well as let our worms breathe and keep the system from being anaerobic and acidic that could kill the worms. The other thing that I did was down at the bottom here, I drilled about 10 holes all the way around the bottom, so like 10 holes total. I didn't want to do too many because we know cold air sinks, and so I don't want too much cold air leaching into this, but I also want any moisture that could potentially build up or get wet in the bottom to be able to flow out so that the bottom doesn't get nasty. So I'm hoping by limiting the holes, I'm hoping I found a good balance, because that heat really needs to stay in as much as possible. So the lid, no holes, try to trap that heat, but we have some holes along the side. So my plan was to have this bin near my dryer vent, but unfortunately it's on a slope. So even though that would be a great spot because a little bit of heat would be released when we turn the dryer on, I don't trust that this wouldn't fall over. And once it's gonna get full, it's gonna be heavy. So I think I'm either going to put it in the little alcove walking into our basement. That way it'll be protected from like the wind and any snow, like on 3 sides as well as from above. Or my other option is going to be, I have an old house. This is my back stoop. As you can see, I have some cleaning up I need to do. But it's an older house. It was renovated, but the back stoop did not get torn down when they renovated the house, and we haven't done it yet. So it has, it's covered as well as up above the ground, and so I'm thinking that could be another option. It would protect from a little bit of the wind and elements as well. So let me know what you think. I'm not quite sure, but I also wanted to say I wouldn't be here without my mentor, Larry Shire, who runs the Blue Worm Bin. He helped me set up my website, how to navigate my blog. He's just done so much for me. And there have been some amazing channels that have shouted me out. I'll link all of them below, but 2 major biggies I wanted to thank were Steve Churchill from the Urban Worm Company. He's the developer of the Urban Worm Bag. He shouted me out on his email list and his blog, as well as London Worms and Gardens, who has a huge channel devoted to gardening and worms as well. So I have a feeling this is going to be a really lengthy video. I'm going to try my best to limit the length of the other clips. But this is my plan so far. We're going to try to get this loaded down with cardboard, leaves, worms. I'm going to start it with a little bit of compost for the microbial aspect of things, and we will get started. I'm going to do this in clips today, guys, so you'll probably see varying degrees of sunlight. I film all of my worm videos on Thursdays, and I just have to see how my day goes. But let me know what you're thinking so far, and I'm going to have all the links to all my favorite channels down below. So I'll be back with you guys shortly, and we'll get this set up. Alright, so I have pretty much everything I think I'm going to need right here to get this started. I filled the trash can just with about, it's about halfway full with some leaves. But I'm going to peel off the labels on these cardboard boxes, and then we're going to slide those down the sides and also lay some on the middle. And then I have some coffee grounds in that tin there. I have a bag of food, got some bedding sources, I have some garden lime and eggshell and neem cake mix. I have a bag here of old leaf compost. It's dried out, but I'm going to lay that down in the bottom. So I'll bring you guys along step by step as I add these various items. And of course in the very, very bottom we have our worms, and we will add them as well. So guys, I just picked up the bag of leaf mold or leaf compost, and look at that, we have worms underneath of it, and these look like they might be reds, some of them at least. Very, very funny, so they will definitely be added to our bin. Okay guys, so I shredded up not all of them, but a handful of these large cardboard boxes, and I'm going to slide them down to the bottom and kind of mainly all the way around the outside. I also dumped in that leaf compost and grabbed those worms that were on the ground. And once I get these slid down the sides, I'm going to fluff up the leaf compost, and we'll add the worms and add a little bit more bedding. Alright guys, so I literally shoved all of that cardboard down along all of the sides, and you'll see the leaf level dropped a lot when I put that compost in there, but that's fine. I think that'll create like a really good insulator to the bottom of this bin, so that's what's going to be kind of our starting base. And now I'm going to get this thing put in place before we add the worms. Alright, so the only unfortunate thing about where I decided to put this, which is in no place that I had thought about, is that it's right near my heat pump, and you can hear it running. It's a little bit loud. But I also threw down just a piece of wood we had, and I'm going to put it on top of that. That could also help prevent too much cold from the ground from coming up in there if we end up with any sort of really hard freezing. It doesn't usually get quite that cold here in Maryland, but we usually in December and January have months where we are in the 20s, 30s. It can occasionally drop below zero, and we do get a decent amount of snow. So I think this is going to be a good spot. I'm going to move this in place, and then we'll finish up. Alright guys, so I like this spot because we're in the corner right by my chimney, and I think that the fact that it's protected, and also this is the direction we get sunlight most of the day. So during the winter months it will be getting sun still here, and hopefully that will help at least a little bit warm up or keep the bin warm during the day. So I have a bag of food, but before I do that I want to sprinkle a little bit of this. It's neem cake, garden lime, and eggshell. I honestly don't think I'm going to add this regularly, but it will be kind of like a starter setup for us. I'm going to lay down just a brown paper bag, toilet paper roll. These were just a few things that I grabbed on my way out here. Egg crate. I'm going to open these egg crates because I'm going to feed inside of them. Kind of nestle this down on top of the leaves. Have a full bag of food for them. It is cold here already a little bit. We are going down into like the low 40s, sometimes even upper 30s at night, but I do think that this will be fine. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more of our goodness here. Save the rest of this. I also have a can of coffee grounds. They heat up a little bit. I threw some tea bags in there as well. Okay. So the last thing we have to add is our worms. I wanted you to take a peek first. This is about 5 gallons of compost in here. I still have some corn cobs. I'm just going to throw some of this stuff as we go. I had fed to bait out some more worms inside another egg crate. You can see some of those worms going to town, and actually this stuff is already heated up a little bit. It's warm, so that'll be good as well. So I'm going to pick up some of these big pieces here. Okay, let's see what other type of worm activity we have in here. I'm keeping a lot of these bedding pieces in whole just because I think it'll be an insulating factor, and that's kind of important to me. But not a ton of worms in here, but I would estimate there's probably close to a pound, if not a pound of worms in here. And I'm not going to feed these guys every week. I'll come out and assess the temperature for them, but I'm not going to feed every single week because we know worms slow down in their feeding when it's cold, so you don't want to overfeed and end up with a problem. I'm starting with a good base of food, but I'm hoping that's going to last them for a few weeks, and next week when I do some more raking I'll add some more leaves as well. But I even see some cocoons, so that should be interesting to see what happens with that. So let me dump these guys in. We'll take one final look, and I'm going to top it with some shredded paper in the meantime, since I don't have a whole bunch more leaves that are raked up at this moment. Alright, so all of our worms are dumped in here in their compost, which will get us started. And like I said, this is a combination of worms from all of my different systems because I pulled this out from my finished compost container that I have inside. So we have a lot of everything in here. Sprinkle a little bit more of this because I don't know what state that leaf mold and stuff was in, so better be safe than sorry. Now I'm going to shred up some newspaper in like lengthwise strips, and I'm going to pile it deep. Alright guys, so here's our finished product. I did gobs and gobs and gobs of newspaper up here. This will be another insulator, and if condensation builds up from our food scraps heating up and breaking down, it can absorb some of it, as well as be a protective barrier on the top here. I'm going to throw the lid on this thing, and we are going to call it a day, and then I'll come back next week. We'll take a peek. I doubt we'll feed, but it is still October, so it could warm up a bit and we might have more activity than I'm expecting, but we're just gonna have to play this by ear. Brand new experiment. My goal is not to have this completely composted by the spring. I don't expect that. Honestly, I just wanted to see how I can do with it, and then I'll try to keep them over the summer as well. But this is really just to see if they can live and thrive despite the cold temperatures in the winter. So let me know what you think. Do you compost outdoors in the winter? What do you do to keep your worms warm? I'd like to hear any of your thoughts and input. So drop those comments below, like this video, subscribe if you'd like some more content from me, and I'll be back next week and we'll take a look and see if they've gotten into the food. Have a great day, guys.